Olu sat on the worn-out couch in their small apartment in Abuja, staring at the flickering light bulb overhead. His mother, Mama Nkechi, hummed softly as she prepared dinner, her hands moving expertly over the chopping board. Olu had always dreamed of wealth, of escaping their struggling neighborhood and living in a mansion with a fleet of cars. "Mama, one day I'll be rich and you won't have to work so hard anymore," he said confidently. Mama Nkechi smiled, shaking her head. "My son, money is good, but it is not everything. A good name is better than riches," she replied. Olu sighed, used to his mother's words of wisdom but still determined. His dreams were too big to be contained in their tiny home, and he vowed that one day he would find a way to make them come true, no matter what it took. Olu excelled in school, earning top grades and gaining the admiration of his teachers. But while intelligence was a gift, it did not put food on the table. His mother struggled to pay his school fees, often taking on extra cleaning jobs just to keep him in school. Olu hated seeing her work so hard while he remained powerless to help. One evening, his best friend Emeka approached him with an idea. "Olu, you're smart. You can tutor some rich kids and make money," Emeka suggested. The idea intrigued Olu, but when he mentioned it to his mother, she shook her head. "Education is not just for money, my son. It is for building character." But Olu could not shake the feeling that education alone would not be enough to lift them out of poverty. He promised himself he would find a way, one that would not keep his mother scrubbing floors forever. As high school came to an end, Olu faced an uncertain future. He had no money for university, and despite his excellent results, scholarships were hard to come by. One day, Emeka returned with exciting news. "There's a job opening at a big company downtown. The pay is good, but you have to be smart to survive there," he said mysteriously. Olu's curiosity was piqued. "What kind of job?" he asked. Emeka hesitated before replying, "It's in finance, but some of their dealings are not exactly clean. You just have to look the other way sometimes." Olu frowned. He had always dreamed of wealth, but could he compromise his values to achieve it? The thought gnawed at him, but with his mother's struggles in mind, he found himself considering the offer. Could this be the chance he had been waiting for? Olu dressed in his best clothes, a simple but neatly pressed shirt and trousers, as he prepared for his interview at Capital Holdings, the company Emeka had mentioned. The office was a grand building with glass doors and air-conditioned hallways, a stark contrast to the dusty streets of his neighborhood. He felt out of place but determined. The interview was brief. The manager, a sharp-eyed man named Mr. Dyke, asked him a few questions before smiling. "You're bright, Olu. We need smart young men like you. But let me be clear. Our business requires discretion. If you can keep secrets and follow orders, you will be well rewarded." Olu nodded, though a seed of doubt was planted in his heart. Was he ready for this world? When he left the building with an offer letter in hand, he realized he had stepped into a game that would test everything he believed in. Olu ran home with excitement, waving his offer letter in the air. "Mama, I got the job! The pay is incredible!" he shouted as he burst into their small apartment. Mama Nkechi looked up from her sewing, her eyes wary. "Which company, my son?" she asked carefully. "Capital Holdings," Olu replied proudly. But instead of celebrating, his mother's expression darkened. "That company is known for corruption, Olu. Please be careful. Money that comes too easily often comes with trouble." Olu felt frustration rise in him. "Mama, this is our chance. I can take care of you now. No more struggling." His mother sighed deeply and touched his shoulder. "Just promise me one thing, my son. Do not lose yourself chasing riches. Your integrity is worth more than money." Olu nodded absent-mindedly, already dreaming of the wealth that awaited him. Olu's first day at Capital Holdings was a whirlwind. The office buzzed with energy, and the fast-paced world of finance was unlike anything he had ever experienced. He was assigned to a team under Mr. Dyke, who wasted no time putting him to work. "Olu, I need you to process these transactions. No questions, just follow the instructions," his boss ordered. As he scanned through the documents, Olu noticed irregularities, large sums moving through offshore accounts with vague descriptions. His stomach twisted, but he reminded himself of his goals. This is just business, he thought. When he handed the files back to Mr. Dyke, the man gave him an approving nod. You're learning fast. Keep this up and you'll go far. Olu forced a smile, but doubt gnawed at him. Was he truly prepared for what this job entailed? Olu's salary was beyond anything he had imagined. In just a few weeks, he moved his mother to a better apartment and bought her new furniture. Mama Nkechi was grateful but uneasy. Olu, this money, is it clean? She asked one evening. Olu avoided her gaze. Mama, I work hard. That's all that matters. With his newfound wealth, he enjoyed luxuries he had once only dreamed of. Fine clothes, expensive restaurants, and even a sleek new car. His friends admired him and Emeka cheered him on. You've made it, Olu. But deep inside, a shadow lingered. He had always imagined wealth bringing happiness, yet something felt off. As he sat in his new car, he wondered, was this really the success he had dreamed of, or had he merely sold a piece of himself for riches? Olu's confidence at Capital Holdings grew, but so did the weight on his conscience. One evening, while reviewing a set of documents, he noticed a glaring error. An account was missing millions. His first instinct was to report it, but he hesitated. Was it really a mistake, or was someone covering their tracks? He took the papers to Mr. Dyke, hoping for guidance. His boss barely glanced at them before chuckling. You're sharp, Olu, but let me give you a piece of advice. Don't ask questions you don't want the answers to. The warning sent a chill down Olu's spine. That night he struggled to sleep, realizing that his job was not just about wealth, it was a dangerous game, and he was now a player in it. Days passed, and Olu buried himself in work, avoiding thoughts of the missing millions. But the more he tried to ignore it, the more the weight of his secrets bore down on him. Mama Nkechi noticed his change in demeanor. Olu, you are not yourself. Talk to me, she urged. He forced a smile. I'm just tired, Mama. Work is demanding. She sighed, not convinced. My son, no amount of money is worth losing your peace. Her words lingered in his mind, but he brushed them aside. He had worked too hard to get here. He couldn't turn back now, could he? Olu's unease grew with each passing day. He tried to drown out his doubts with work, with luxury, with the idea that he was finally providing for his mother. But deep down he knew he was entangled in something dangerous. One evening, Emeka met him for dinner at a high-end restaurant. The excitement in Emeka's eyes was evident. Olu, you're doing great, man. Everyone's talking about you at the office. You're moving up fast. Olu forced a smile. Yeah, I guess so. Emeka raised an eyebrow. What's wrong? Isn't this what you wanted? Olu hesitated. He wanted to confide in Emeka, to tell him about the sleepless nights, the constant paranoia. But what good would that do? Instead, he simply nodded. Yeah, just a lot on my mind. Emeka chuckled, raising his glass. Welcome to success, my brother. Get used to it. But as Olu clinked glasses with his friend, a thought gnawed at him. Was this success, or was it a trap he had walked into willingly? Do you want to explore what happens next? Should Olu push deeper into this world or start looking for a way out? That night, as Olu drove home, the weight of his choices pressed down on him. The streets of Abuja were alive with neon lights and the hum of late-night traffic, but inside his sleek new car, silence surrounded him. He gripped the steering wheel tightly, his mother's words echoing in his head. At a red light, his phone buzzed. A message from an unknown number. Olu's heartbeat quickened. He knew better than to respond right away. His mind raced through the possibilities. Was this a setup, a warning, or something worse? He considered ignoring it, but something in his gut told him that wasn't an option. Whatever this was, it was tied to the job. And in this business, ignorance wasn't just dangerous, it was deadly. By the time he reached home, his mother was already asleep. He stood outside her room for a moment, listening to her soft breathing. If she knew the kind of people he worked for, it would break her heart. Taking a deep breath, he grabbed his jacket and headed back out. The warehouse loomed in the darkness, abandoned except for a single car parked outside. A man leaned against it, cigarette smoke curling around his face. As Olu approached, the man smirked. "You took your time," he said. Olu squared his shoulders. "Who are you?" The man flicked his cigarette to the ground and stepped forward. "Someone who knows you're in way over your head." Olu felt a chill run down his spine. This wasn't just a warning. This was the beginning of something much bigger. Olu clenched his fists, keeping his expression neutral. "If you know so much, start talking," he said, his voice steady despite the tension coiling in his gut. The man chuckled, shaking his head. "You're smart, Olu, but you're playing in a game where the rules don't favor you." Olu crossed his arms. "And what game is that?" The man's eyes darkened. "Capital Holdings. You think you're just pushing paperwork? You're laundering money for people who won't hesitate to bury you if you step out of line." Olu's stomach twisted, but he kept his face unreadable. He had suspected as much, but hearing it confirmed sent a cold shiver through him. "What do you want from me?" he asked. The man stepped closer. "To help you get out, before it's too late." Olu studied him. This could be a setup, a test from Mr. Dyke to see where his loyalty lay, or it could be the only chance he had to escape before he was in too deep. "You expect me to just walk away?" Olu said cautiously. The man smirked. "You think they'll let you?" He glanced around the dark warehouse, then back at Olu. "You have two choices, stay and become one of them, or take a risk and get out while you still can." Olu's pulse pounded in his ears. He had fought too hard for this job, for the security it provided his mother. But now that security felt like a cage, tightening around him with every day that passed. He exhaled sharply. "If I leave, what happens next?" The man's smirk faded. "That depends on how smart you are." Olu glanced at the dark city skyline. He had a decision to make. Should he trust this man and find a way out, or stay in the game and try to navigate the dangers from within? Olu weighed his options carefully. He wasn't a fool. Walking away wasn't as simple as quitting a regular job. Mr. Dyke and the people behind Capital Holdings didn't just let people leave. If this man was telling the truth, then staying meant sinking even deeper into corruption. But if this was a setup, trusting him could cost Olu his life. "I need more than vague warnings," Olu said finally. "If I walk away, I need to know I won't end up dead in a gutter." The man nodded approvingly. "Smart. But the truth is there are no guarantees. What I can tell you is that others have tried to leave before. Some made it out. Others didn't." Olu's jaw tightened. "And you? Who are you really?" The man glanced over his shoulder as if expecting to be watched. "Call me Toba. I used to be where you are now. I did the jobs, looked the other way, thought I was untouchable, until I saw what happens when you're no longer useful to them." Olu frowned. "And yet you're still here." Toba smirked. "Because I learned to play the game differently, and now I help people like you. People who realize too late that they've stepped into quicksand." A tense silence stretched between them. Olu's mind raced. If Toba was genuine, this could be his one chance to escape before it was too late. But if this was a trap, walking into it blindly could seal his fate. As if sensing his hesitation, Toba reached into his jacket and pulled out a small slip of paper. "Think about it. If you're serious about getting out, meet me at this address tomorrow night. But if you're staying in, forget we ever spoke." Olu took the paper, glancing at the scribbled address before pocketing it. His hands felt clammy. His heart pounded. Toba stepped back, his voice low. "Just don't take too long to decide, because trust me, Capital Holdings already knows when someone is thinking about leaving." With that, he disappeared into the shadows, leaving Olu alone with the weight of his choice. What do you think Olu should do? Should he meet Toba and take the risk, or should he stay and try to navigate the dangers from within? Olu barely slept that night. His mind spun with questions, doubts, and a creeping fear that no matter what he chose, there was no true way out. By morning, he went through his usual routine, dressing sharply, heading to work, forcing a smile as he greeted colleagues. But everything felt different now. Every glance from his coworkers felt like suspicion. Every email, every assignment from Mr. Dyke seemed to hold an unspoken warning. At lunchtime, Emeka found him sitting in the cafeteria, barely touching his food. "Man, you look like you've seen a ghost," Emeka said, sitting across from him. "What's wrong?" Olu hesitated. Could he trust Emeka? His best friend had brought him into Capital Holdings, believing it was an opportunity, but had Emeka also been warned? Was he watching him for Mr. Dyke? "I'm just tired," Olu said, pushing his plate away. Emeka studied him for a moment, then lowered his voice. "Listen, bro, if you're getting second thoughts about this job, you need to be careful." Olu's breath caught. "What do you mean?" Emeka glanced around before leaning in. "I heard about a guy, worked here a few years back, tried to leave. One day he just disappeared." A chill ran down Olu's spine. Disappeared? Emeka nodded grimly. No trace, no body, just gone, and nobody talks about it. Olu felt the weight of the paper in his pocket, the address Toba had given him. He had to make a decision, and he had to make it fast.